Welcome to Rapid Fire Crypto Rundown. Are these top performers in your portfolio? Let's dive in. We're checking out the hottest crypto assets from the Milk Road newsletter, December 16th, 2024. The ones making waves, leaving everyone wondering what happened there.
Yeah, it's a real mix this time. We've got everything from strategic airdrops to the AI boom and even a little bit of institutional muscle flexing. It kind of paints a picture of where things are headed in the crypto world.
All right, okay, let's break it down. First up, Hyperliquid. This one has seen a pretty incredible price surge, about 6 times since its launch, just 2 weeks ago. I'm curious, what's fueling this kind of growth?
Well, Hyperliquid managed to pull off something pretty rare in the crypto world. A successful, and might I add, non-infuriating, airdrop. They launched their HYPE token with a low, fully diluted market cap.
Fully diluted market cap, I've heard that term thrown around. But could you break it down for our listeners who might not be familiar?
Sure thing. Imagine a pizza. Right. The fully diluted market cap is like the total value of the entire pizza, if it were all available right now. Hyperliquid launched with a smaller pizza, so each slice, or token in this case, was more valuable.
Smaller pizza, bigger slices.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So how did that translate into such impressive price action?
Well, this approach really incentivized people who received the airdrop to hold on to their HYPE tokens. Less selling pressure means prices naturally go up, which is exactly what happened. Then you had outside traders seeing this momentum and jumping in, pushing the price even higher. Classic supply and demand.
So it's not just about the technology itself, but also the strategy behind the launch. That's a good lesson for anyone looking at new projects.
Yeah.
What's next on our list of movers and shakers?
Next up, Virtuals, a platform where you can build your own AI agent. Remember we talked about AI a couple weeks back in the Milk Road newsletter? Well, it seems like the market is really taking notice. Virtuals has seen its price double in the last 2 weeks. And get this, it's up 100 times since late September.
Wow, 100x. That's what I call riding the wave. Is this all just hype? Or are we seeing real development in the AI space?
I think it's more than hype. There's a real buzz around AI right now. It's not just theoretical potential anymore. We're seeing, tangible development and adoption, and investors are responding to that. Virtuals is a perfect example.
It's definitely exciting to see. Now, shifting gears a bit, we've got a familiar name on the list, OA. They've seen a solid 40% gain over the past week. What's driving their success this time around?
Arrave's recent performance can be attributed to a couple of key factors. First, their product is seeing strong adoption. More and more people are using it, which is always a positive sign. We can actually see this in the usage data from Into the Block, which shows a significant increase in activity.
Real users, real adoption. That's what you want to see. What's the other factor that's contributing to their growth?
Well, this is where things get interesting. Arrave has also been included on the balance sheet of World Liberty Financial.
Wait, World Liberty Financial. Remind our listeners what that is.
That's the incoming president's DeFi platform. And their decision to include Array is a pretty big deal for the crypto world. Suddenly, you have this established, influential entity putting their weight behind a decentralized finance protocol.
It sounds like institutional adoption might be playing a bigger role in the market than ever before.
Absolutely. And Aave isn't the only one benefiting from this trend. 2 other top performers this week, Ondo and Athena, were also included on World Liberty Financial's balance sheet.
You're right. Both Ondo, which is a tokenized securities platform, and Athena, a decentralized stablecoin protocol, saw a nice 20% bump after that news. Not bad, considering they're already multi-billion-dollar assets.
Exactly. It's a real illustration of how institutional interest can move the needle. Think about it. You have these large players who typically move slower and more cautiously entering the crypto space. That sends a signal to the market, and we're seeing the impact in real time.
So we've covered quite a bit already. Strategic airdrops, the AI wave, strong product adoption, and now the growing influence of institutions. It's a dynamic landscape, that's for sure. But before we get too far ahead, I want to stop and ask, what does all of this mean for our listeners? What should they be taking away from these examples?
The key takeaway here is that the crypto market is evolving, it's maturing, and these top-performing assets offer a glimpse into the trends shaping its future.
So how do we make sense of all of this? It feels like there are a million different directions the market could go. Where do we even begin?
I think one way to navigate this is to look at these success stories as case studies. What can we learn from them? Take Hyperliquid, for example. Their successful airdrop shows that there are innovative ways to launch a project and generate excitement, even in a crowded market.
Yeah. That's a really good point. It's easy to get caught up in the technology, but the strategy behind a project's launch can make all the difference. What about virtuals and the whole AI boom? What can we learn from their performance?
Virtuals is a great example of riding a larger trend. We're seeing AI become more and more integrated into our lives, and investors are looking for ways to get exposure to that growth. The key takeaway here is to identify those emerging trends early on and find projects that are well positioned to capitalize on them.
That makes sense. Don't just chase the hype, understand the underlying trend. What about Aleve, Ondo, and Athena? They all seem to be benefiting from institutional adoption. What's the lesson there?
Well, I think it highlights a really important shift. In the crypto landscape, we're seeing institutional investors who are typically more risk-averse become increasingly comfortable with digital assets. This signals growing legitimacy and maturity for the entire crypto market.
It's fascinating to think about the potential implications of that. If institutions are getting involved, does that mean we're on the cusp of a paradigm shift? Could we see decentralized finance, or DeFi, becoming more integrated into our everyday lives?
Oh, that's certainly a possibility. As more people become comfortable with these technologies and as regulatory frameworks evolve, I think we could see a greater integration of DeFi into traditional financial systems. Imagine a world where you could access financial services without needing a bank, where you could borrow, lend, and invest directly with others, all powered by blockchain technology.
That's a powerful vision of the future. It's easy to look at these top-performing assets and think, I wish I had gotten in on that. What would you say to those listeners who are feeling that way?
I think it's important to remember that investing is a marathon, not a sprint. Chasing pumps rarely leads to long-term success. Instead, focus on building a diversified portfolio of projects that you believe in, projects that have strong fundamentals and a clear vision for the future.
So don't just jump on the bandwagon because something is hot right now. Do your research, understand the project, and invest responsibly. Sounds like good advice to me. Now, the Milk Road newsletter isn't just about asset performance, right? What else did they highlight this week that our listeners should be aware of?
Well, there's some interesting macroeconomic data coming out this week. We have retail sales figures coming out on Tuesday. The Federal Reserve is announcing their interest rate decision on Wednesday. And then Thursday, we're getting GDP data for the last quarter.
The Fed.
Yeah.
Always keeping us on our toes. What's the current thinking on the interest rate decision?
The data suggests a 99.1% chance of a 25 basis point rate cut. So we'll likely see a slight easing of monetary policy.
Okay, and remind our listeners, why do we care about interest rate decisions? What impact can they have on the crypto market?
Well, historically, rate cuts tend to be good for risk assets like crypto. Lower interest rates usually stimulate economic activity, and some of that can spill over into the crypto market. But it's important to remember that correlation doesn't equal causation.
Right. Just because the Fed cuts rates doesn't mean Bitcoin is automatically going to the moon.
Exactly. There are many factors that influence the crypto market, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on.
So we've got macro data to watch.
Yeah.
Anything else on the radar this week?
Well, there are some significant token unlocks happening this week, particularly for Arbitrum. Roughly $96 million worth of tokens are about to become available for the Arbitrum team and its early investors.
Token unlocks. Those can be a bit tricky to navigate, can't they? Explain to our listeners what happens during a token unlock and why they should care.
Essentially, when a project launches, a certain portion of its tokens are often locked up, meaning they can't be sold immediately. This helps with price stability in the early stages. But as the project matures, those tokens are gradually unlocked, and those early investors and team members can start selling their holdings.
So a potential for increased selling pressure, which could lead to a price dip.
Exactly. It's not always a guarantee, but it's something to be aware of. It's a good idea to monitor the market closely and see how it reacts when a large token unlock occurs.
So a potential risk, but also potentially a buying opportunity if the price drops. It's all about risk management, right?
Absolutely. It's about understanding the potential impact of these events and making informed decisions based on your own investment strategy.
Solid advice. Any other exciting developments on the horizon?
Yes, actually. Remember the Pudgy Penguins? Well, they're launching their ecosystem token, PENG, on the Solana blockchain tomorrow.
Pudgy penguins. Adorable little guys. What's the buzz around this token launch?
It seems like everyone on crypto Twitter is talking about it. The token supply is being divided among the team, the community, the treasury, and future development. It'll be interesting to see how this launch plays out, especially given their strong community and brand recognition.
It's always fascinating to see how these new token launches impact the market. So we've got macro data, token unlocks, a penguin-themed token launch. What else is happening in the wild world of crypto?
Well, Athena is launching a new stablecoin in partnership with BlackRock. It's called USDTB.
BlackRock.
Right.
Now, that's a big name. They're a major player in traditional finance. Their involvement in a stablecoin project is quite a statement, wouldn't you say?
It absolutely is. It really speaks to the growing legitimacy of stablecoins and their potential to bridge the gap between traditional finance and the crypto world. To have a company like BlackRock partnering on a stablecoin project, it really adds a layer of credibility to the entire space.
It seems like the lines are blurring more and more each day. Traditional finance is dipping its toes into crypto, and crypto is finding its way into the mainstream. It's an exciting time to be watching this all unfold.
It really is, and that's why it's so important to stay informed and keep learning about this rapidly evolving space.
I couldn't agree more. And that's why we do this show, right? To help our listeners stay ahead of the curve and navigate this exciting, sometimes chaotic world of crypto.
Exactly. It's all about sharing knowledge and helping people make informed decisions.
So we've covered a lot of ground today, from top-performing assets to upcoming events and key takeaways. Is there anything else you'd like to highlight before we wrap up?
Yeah, just a reminder that all of this information is for, educational purposes only, and it's not financial advice. Always do your own research before making any investment decisions.
Absolutely. We can't stress that enough. Crypto is an exciting space, but it's important to be informed and invest responsibly. Now, for those who want to dive even deeper into the world of crypto, stay up to date on all the latest happenings, where can they find the Milk Road newsletter?
You can find the link to subscribe in the episode description. It's a great resource for staying informed, getting your daily dose of crypto insights.
Perfect. Now, as we wrap up, what's one final thought you'd like to leave our listeners with? What should they be thinking about as they go about their day, maybe even their week?
I think the most important thing is to stay curious. The crypto world is constantly evolving. There's always something new to learn, a new development to explore. Don't be afraid to ask questions, challenge assumptions, and engage with this fascinating technology.
Well said. A perfect note to end on. Stay curious, stay informed, and stay tuned for more rapid-fire crypto rundowns. Until next time.
See you then.